Is Mafia 2 Definitive Edition still broken in 2026, or has it finally redeemed itself? When this remaster launched back in 2020, it quickly earned a reputation for bugs, glitches, and technical issues. But 6 years later, is that reputation still deserved? Today I'm going to break down the story, gameplay, and world to see whether Mafia 2 Definitive Edition still holds up. Mafia 2 Definitive Edition is the 2020 remaster of the original Mafia 2, which first released in 2010. It was developed by Hangar 13 and published by 2K. Unlike Mafia Definitive Edition, which is a full remake, Mafia 2 Definitive Edition is a remaster featuring visual improvements and all of the DLC included. Replaying the game for this video, I honestly didn't run into any major issues. The version available today feels far more stable than the one people were talking about when it first launched. You play as Vito Scaletta, an Italian immigrant living in Empire Bay, a city heavily inspired by New York. The story begins during World War II and follows Vito from his time fighting in Sicily all the way to becoming a made man alongside his best friend, Joe Barbaro. The campaign consists of 15 chapters and takes roughly 10 to 12 hours to complete, not including the DLC. For me, this is still the strongest story in the Mafia trilogy. The writing is excellent, the performances are strong, and the characters feel believable from beginning to end. Vito is probably my favorite protagonist in the whole series, and Joe is my favorite supporting character. What makes the story work so well is the relationship between the two of them. Their conversations and humor feel natural and makes you genuinely become invested in their friendship and the journey they go through together. The game also does a great job of showing both the rewards and consequences of the criminal lifestyle. It's not just a story about climbing the ranks of the mob, it's also about what the life can take away from you. Like Mafia Definitive Edition, the cast remains fairly focused throughout the story. Rather than constantly introducing new characters, the game spends time developing the important ones, which makes the emotional moments land much harder. Even after all these years, I still think Mafia 2 has one of the best stories in gaming, and it's the main reason people continue to talk about it even today. Why do fools fall in love? Why do birds sing? The gameplay is a noticeable improvement over Mafia Definitive Edition in several areas. The shooting is fairly simple, but the hand-to-hand combat is much better. You can dodge attacks, throw light and heavy punches, chain together combinations, and perform finishers. It's not the deepest combat system ever made, but it's much more engaging than the simple fistfights found in the first game. Driving is once again one of the highlights. You can choose between normal driving and simulation driving. Simulation mode makes the vehicles feel heavier and more realistic, requiring more care when driving fast or making turns on icy roads, and making it easier to lose control if you're driving recklessly. The cars feel appropriate for the time period, and each vehicle feels unique. While Mafia Definitive Edition features manual transmission, I actually prefer the overall driving feel in Mafia 2. The gunplay is similar to Mafia Definitive Edition. It can feel a little floaty at times, but overall it's pretty solid and a fun part of the gameplay. The cover system works well, and combat encounters remain as some of the best moments throughout the story. One area where Mafia 2 Definitive Edition really stands out is the number of smaller, immersive mechanics spread throughout the game. You can pick locks to steal vehicles, bribe police officers for minor offences, and pay fines if you're caught speeding. If you're wanted by the police, you can change your clothes or use a phone box to bribe the police. And if your car is wanted, you can change its license plates to avoid detection, which is a small feature but adds a surprising amount to the immersion. None of these mechanics are revolutionary on their own, but together they help Empire Bay feel much more believable. The game is still limited to 30 FPS on modern consoles and is upscaled to 4K, which may disappoint some players. Despite that, I found it felt smoother than Mafia Definitive Edition during gameplay and never had any major issues with responsiveness. Empire Bay is easily one of my favorite settings in gaming. The wartime sections feature snow-covered streets, darker lighting, and older vehicles, while the 1950s sections are brighter, more colorful, and full of newer cars, fashion, and music. Compared to Lost Heaven and Mafia Definitive Edition, Empire Bay feels far more interactive and lived in. You can enter clothing stores, restaurants, bars, gun shops, and garages. You can also interact with things around your apartment, such as lights, taps, radios, and can eat and drink food from your fridge. There are also plenty other smaller details that bring the world to life. You can refuel your car at petrol stations and can fix cars by lifting the bonnet if the engine stops working from excessive damage. The police system also deserves credit. Officers can stop you for speeding, issue fines, and react differently depending on the seriousness of your crimes. You can pay fines, bribe police, and resist arrest, helping the city feel like a real functioning place. Physics are another standout feature. Enemies react convincingly when shot, with ragdoll physics, and vehicles deform realistically during crashes. Car damage is particularly impressive, with windows shattering, bumpers falling off, and vehicles gradually getting more damaged over time. Why did they fall in love? Overall, I think Mafia 2 Definitive Edition holds up extremely well in 2026. The game may have launched with technical issues, but replaying it today, I found very little worth complaining about. The visual improvements still look good, the performance is stable, and overall the package is far stronger than its reputation suggests. Most importantly, the core game remains excellent. The story is fantastic, the characters are memorable, the world is immersive, and the gameplay offers a lot of depth. In my opinion, Mafia 2 has the best story in the trilogy, and it's easy to see why it's remained the fan favorite for so many years. If you enjoy crime dramas, mob movies, or story driven games, I think Mafia 2 Definitive Edition is absolutely worth playing. It also goes on sale fairly regularly, often for €10 on its own or as part of the Mafia Trilogy collection on the digital stores of Xbox and PlayStation, making it an easy recommendation if you've never played it before. For me, Mafia 2 Definitive Edition remains one of the best crime games ever made, and 6 years after the remaster launch, I think it holds up exceptionally well.